Bullies mocked the shy girl's lunch, huge mistake. She was Delta Force trained. It happened so fast, but the cafeteria fell silent in slow motion. A carton of milk exploded across the table, splashing like a mini tidal wave onto the neatly packed lunch of the quietest girl in school. The echo of laughter chased the sound of her metal lunchbox crashing to the floor. But no one, not a single soul in that cafeteria, knew that the girl they just humiliated once stared death in the face in the middle of a battlefield. No one knew that the same girl who flinched when called names had once taken down grown men with nothing but her bare hands and a heartbeat trained for war. They thought she was fragile. They thought she was invisible. They thought they could break her. But they had just made a mistake so big, it would change everything. Backhand index pointing right. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the strength that lies in silence, please take a second to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Echoes of Life. Your support brings these untold stories to light. Maya Reynolds had always been a mystery. She transferred into Westbridge High halfway through junior year and barely spoke to anyone unless it was required. Her hair was always tied back tightly, as if she didn't want a single strand to distract her from blending into the background. She wore the same neutral-toned clothes each day, nothing flashy, nothing that stood out, just enough to go unnoticed. To some, she was a ghost. To others, an easy target. And to the few teachers who paid attention, Maya was just another quiet face in the sea of students trying to make it through high school without catching a scar. The bullying started small. A note left in her locker with cruel words. A snicker from a group of girls when she walked past. Then came the lunchroom stares, the whispers, and the bold move, Tara, queen bee of the senior class, accidentally knocking over Maya's lunch and declaring her food looked like it had been scraped off the road. That particular day, Maya had brought a traditional MRE, the kind used in military deployments. It was the first time anyone had noticed it, and it became the perfect ammunition. What is this? Army rations? What are you, a soldier? Tara mocked, her voice ringing across the tables. What none of them knew was that yes, Maya was, in a past life, a soldier. More than that, she was once Delta Force. Her background was kept quiet for a reason. Maya had lost her older brother in a roadside bombing in Afghanistan when she was just 15. Driven by grief and revenge, she enlisted the very moment she turned 18. She pushed through grueling months of training, rising quickly due to her discipline, intelligence, and pure grit. Against all odds, she earned her place in one of the military's most elite special operations forces. She had saved lives, disarmed bombs, endured torture, and returned home with medals she never mentioned to anyone. But when a mission went sideways and innocent lives were lost, lives she couldn't save, Maya requested discharge. She walked away from the battlefield, hoping high school might offer some form of peace, even if it came disguised in teenage chaos. But peace wasn't something people like Maya were given easily. After the cafeteria incident, something inside her cracked open, not with anger, but with pain. She didn't retaliate, didn't lash out. Instead, she picked up her dented lunchbox, cleaned the mess with the calm precision of someone who had cleaned up far worse, and walked out without a word. She didn't cry. She didn't tremble. But she didn't forget. Tara and her crew continued the harassment for weeks. Maya was tripped in hallways, called Sergeant Silence, and laughed at during gym class. The worst part wasn't even the cruelty, it was the fact that no one stood up for her. Not the teachers. Not the students. Not a single soul seemed brave enough to defend the girl who once defended a nation. Everything changed during the school's annual Obstacle Awareness Day. It was a light-hearted event with physical games, ropes, climbing walls, races. The students saw it as a joke. But Maya? She saw something else. Coach Randall asked for volunteers for the final challenge, an old military-style course, newly added to spice things up. It was meant to be a fun show. Laughs. Struggles. But then Tara nudged Maya forward and smirked. "Come on, soldier girl. Show us how the big, bad army trained you to crawl in the dirt." Maya paused. Something unreadable passed through her eyes. Then she nodded. "All right." What followed was nothing short of cinematic. Maya didn't just complete the course. She owned it. Every obstacle, every challenge, every impossible climb, she executed with precision and grace that stunned the crowd. Tire runs, net climbs, mud crawls, vaults, done with zero hesitation. In under 4 minutes, she stood at the finish line, barely breathing hard, her expression calm. No one clapped. No one laughed. They just stared. Tara's laughter had died somewhere between the wall climb and the final sprint. Now she stood slack-jawed, her confidence shattered. Coach Randall was the first to speak, half joking but awestruck. "What on earth was that?" Maya met his eyes and said quietly, "Just muscle memory." Word spread like wildfire. Someone found an old photo of Maya in uniform. Another stumbled upon a blurry news article about a classified mission gone wrong in Syria, one that mentioned a mysterious female operative who pulled 3 civilians from a collapsing building and dragged 2 injured teammates to safety. Westbridge was buzzing. But what shocked everyone even more was Maya's response. She never once flaunted her past. She didn't show off or rub her strength in anyone's face. She remained quiet, humble, and focused. When asked why she never spoke about it, she simply replied, "Some battles are fought quietly." The bullies backed off, not out of fear, but shame. Something about Maya's silence spoke louder than any retaliation could. Her strength wasn't in her fists or her skills, it was in her restraint. Her grace. Her unshaken calm. A few days later, something unexpected happened. During lunch, a freshman boy approached her table, awkward, fidgety, clutching a tray of barely touched food. Without a word, Maya gestured for him to sit. One by one, other quiet students joined her. Not outcasts, just the invisible ones. She didn't try to lead them. She just gave them space to breathe. And that's what made her powerful. Tara, guilt finally catching up with her, left a note in Maya's locker. It simply said, "I'm sorry. I didn't know." Maya read it once, folded it up, and walked to class. She didn't need revenge. She needed healing. In time, the school changed, not overnight, but slowly. Students began standing up when they saw bullying. Teachers paid more attention to the quiet kids. Maya had started a ripple effect without ever raising her voice. Backhand index pointing right if this story touched your heart, if it reminded you of someone strong, silent, and overlooked, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Echoes of Life. These real-life echoes deserve to be heard. Envelope with arrow before you go, we'd love to hear from you. Have you ever known someone quietly carrying unimaginable strength? Share your story in the comments below. Your words might inspire someone else. Maya never returned to the battlefield. She didn't need to. She had already fought the biggest war of all, the one for dignity, identity, and peace. And in the end, she won not through force, but through quiet courage. In a world that often confuses loudness with power, Maya showed that the strongest ones are often the ones who speak the least, feel the most, and choose peace when they could destroy.